This is going to be our Iridescent Seashells Vanity Tray pour in our Geode Agate Tray two-part mold, which I'm showing right there. I'm going to be using Resiner's crystal clear epoxy resin that they were so nice to send us to try out, along with Resiner's G3 curing machine because I have several different parts to cure of this and we need it to cure faster than normal. So buckle up, buttercups. We've got a 12-minute video, which is pretty long for me to go here. And I did speed a lot of this up, so it's 12 minutes with sped up footage at 500%. There I mixed up about 5 ounces of resin, which I didn't really need on a normal fill for this mold. If you're doing mica powders or inks, it takes about 6.5 ounces to fill those island areas. I probably only needed about 3 ounces. I'm just pouring a base down there to have something on the bottom. And then I have some iridescent blue seashells that I got from, I don't know, Hobby Lobby, I think. I think Michael sells them. They come in blues and pinks and stuff like that. And I took out, there's some pretty big pieces that I already took out. And so I'm just scooping in shells into the larger areas, and then I start hand placing them later into the smaller areas. And you have to be kind of fastidious, is that the word for this? Because you don't want empty spaces. You want to fill up all the little island areas there, as we call them. The other area is called the river. You want to fill up the island areas, but not have things jutting up so far. We are going to put a top coat on it, so we don't want shells sticking up that much higher than that river area, which is why I have to play around with it. And now we're speeding it up because it took me, I swear to God, well, not hours to do this, but a long time. And there I'm just taking a toothpick and kind of maneuvering the pieces into the little areas. Those thinner areas are hard to get them into. I had to pull out smaller shapes to get in there. I think I do end up putting a little bit more resin on top, but there was enough on the bottom to just sink the stones into it. So I'm basically using the resin as glue here to hold the stones in their little prescribed areas. And then, of course, I got real anal because if I had green next to green, I had to put a blue stone in between. So I moved them around a bit. And as you see with that mold, I had done another pour and I had an explosion of powder that didn't come off of there. That's why there's pink on the yellow part of the mold. And I actually did this pour once before, but I put a yellow river in it, kind of like what that looks like. And it was awful. It was so bad I just had to throw it away and start from scratch. So I have some, I'll show in a little bit, the iridescent glass beads that I use in the center with my crushed glass on all my other pieces. And then I found this really pretty film to put in. I hadn't planned on using it, but I saw it in my stash of things, so I ended up using that as the base and the river part later on. And here we are, still filling up the little areas, and I'm using the toothpick to move the things around, make sure each area is filled up, because that river will eventually, the yellow part will come out, and we'll be filling that to create the river part. Rivers and islands is how we refer to them. But this is a fun mold to work with. I've used mica powder, I've used crystals, and there I just took a pipette and I'm just taking some of the extra resin. See how much resin I have left in that cup? Probably 4.5 ounces now, probably at least 4 ounces though. And I just kind of top coated it because you're just, again, trying to glue them into their little spaces there. They didn't have to be totally covered, but just enough so they wouldn't move. Oh, and then I grabbed some Solar Color Dust Hyper Holo Flakes in silver. It's a super, super fine glitter. It doesn't really even look like glitter. It just sparkles. So I was just kind of tapping some on the top to kind of get some shimmer going on there. Even though we have the iridescent color, it's always nice to have some sparkle. And there I have the G3 curing machine. I put it on for 2 hours at 140 degrees. That's kind of the basic temp it comes up with. And that 2 hours will go by fast because, oh, we're done already. Time to move that out of the way and pull the river part out. Or the second part of the two-part mold. And you could, I'm doing this real time, you could do this faster, but just in case those pieces weren't stuck to the bottom of the mold, I didn't want them coming up, because in the past I've had all of them lift up and then I just had to position them back in my, one by one. We didn't want to deal with that because this pour was going on long enough as it was. So I'm just carefully holding down the pieces that I'm peeling that mold away from. And see how cute that looks? What fun. There's our little island areas of the iridescent shells. And there's those iridescent beads. I put them in that container because I have so many of them. That's what I use in the center of all my pieces with crushed glass. And here's this enchanted snow Pixie Flakes. I found those in my stash, so I'm going to put that down on the bottom. And I mixed up 2.25 ounces of resin. Again, Resiner's Crystal Clear Epoxy Resin. And I put 4 large scoops of that film on top, or into that resin. I did put aside 0.60 ounces for clear in case I needed to top, the crystals off with, or the iridescent beads. But again, I didn't even need 2.25 ounces for this. So I'm just pouring it in there and using a toothpick or a silicone tool to kind of move it. For some reason, the resin never flows. You have to move it along. It'll move once there's a bunch in there, but when you're just first putting in, you have to kind of tease it along the little lines. And that's exactly what I'm doing. And you can't really see it because it's just that iridescent kind of film in the resin. But I'm trying to get it in all the little areas. Believe it or not, I got this 12-minute video edited down to like 54 seconds for the story and Instagram reel. I don't know how I did that, but it's a pretty fast pour. Of course, all the steps weren't in there, but good enough for the people who have no attention span. And there, I'm still just teasing it around. So there's the first layer. And then I'm just going to take a measuring little spoon and put the iridescent glass beads on the top. I figured they had a sparkle to them, kind of pinkish, bluish, and at least it wasn't a color. Kevin always tells me, oh, put a contrasting color like yellow or orange. And I made that mistake the first time. So I figured this would give it the little sparkle that it needed and let those blue shells sparkle on their own, because there's blues and purples and greens and teals. And again, just using a toothpick to make sure they're in there. These can be submerged, but you don't want them going higher than the island area. So you got to keep it down, but make sure the areas are all filled with those little iridescent beads, since this is forming the river around the islands. And this is ramped up 500%. So just imagine how long this took. Real speed. I bore myself. That's why I have to speed it up so much. So yeah, 2.25 ounces to do this. If you were doing a real river, you'd probably use that. But I just didn't need it with all these beads and film. So that was after. I didn't show the Resiner's machine again, but another 2 hours to cure that up. And then it was time for the top coat. I took 8 ounces, again, of Resiner's Crystal Clear Epoxy Resin and put that on the top, and it was just enough for the top coat. I did not put it back in the G3 curing machine. For some reason, I think I tried a top coat cure and I got some kind of weird finish on the top, so I didn't want to chance it with this one. So I just let this sit out in the air by itself to dry, the top coat. But the first layer in the G3, second layer in the G3, top coat on its own. This resin was pretty nice and not a lot of bubbles at all, which was great. And then the next day, it's cured. But of course, we still have to go finish off the back and the sides. The little bead show, those colors are just popping. Got a glossy top, but the bottom of the mold is matte. Still looks cool, but you end up getting dribs and drabs of resin there that aren't completely flat. So that's why we want to tape it off. I took some blue painter's tape and I taped off the front of it. Or actually I didn't. Kevin did that because mine would not have looked that good. And I found this perfect paint. I was just going to buy a blue paint, but I found this color shift paint by Rust-Oleum called Blue Cosmos. And wait till you see how perfectly it goes with those colors. It's like it was made for me. And what's great about this Rust-Oleum, you have to put this over black. The Rust-Oleum are oil-based paints, and that's why they stick to resin. Acrylic paint does not stick to resin, even though it might seem like it's dry. It doesn't dry. I found that out the hard way. I called Deco Art once and they told me it would take 28 days to dry, and they still couldn't guarantee that it would adhere. So yeah, that's why I don't use acrylic paint on resin. Use it. No, I don't even know about in resin. Anyhow, there's some rapid fuse glue that Kevin told me to use. And I'm just putting on the feet here and holding it down for a few seconds. And of course, I'm not scientific about this. I just put the 4 feet on, and I think I have to add 2 more because this rocks a little bit. So I'll probably just have Kevin finish off those 2. And of course, I just sped this up. Because look, that doesn't even look even, but that's okay. It's just to give the piece a base. And then it's time to pull off the tape. The big reveal, although we've already seen it. You could use latex to also put on the top, but we found latex doesn't go to the edge all the time, so then you could have paint overspray, and you don't want that. So that's why the painter's tape works. You just have to make sure the resin's dry before you put painter's tape on it. I did have to use a little bit of acetone to get off some tape residue, but not much. And there's the finished piece. It sure is fun to do projects with this 2-part Geode agate tray mold, and I think those colors came out great. That blue cosmos matched the greens and the blues of the iridescent seashells.